All right, guys. Hey, we're here today with this 2018 Ford Fiesta. This is actually my sister's car, and her AC went out. And I was hoping it was just the resistor, which is on the passenger side, but I replaced it and checked the fuses, and nothing was working. So I tested the blower motor. It was grounding within the motor, so had to pull it out. But I couldn't find, I can't get this to focus. I couldn't find any good videos or information besides like all data on how to remove this. And all data was very vague. They just said, it was literally 3 steps: remove brake pedal, remove blower motor. And I was like, well, you know, that doesn't really help me. But yes, you do have to take out not only the brake pedal, so this is the entire brake pedal assembly here. There is these 2 studs right here. There are 2 nuts that you'll have to take off for the accelerator pedal, which is right here. So yeah, definitely want to take both of these out. This one, the brake pedal itself wouldn't be difficult to remove if it weren't for the nut that lives right up here, and that it's going to be difficult to show on camera, but you can see that stud. I'm going to put my light right under it. That stud is what kind of holds you off. So the easiest way would be to just go ahead and, you know, not try to cut any corners, remove the brake pedal. But the airbag, there's a driver's knee airbag that sits here. It has 2 10 mils. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah. So this is the airbag here. This is the driver's knee airbag. It mounts just like this. So you have 2 10 mil nuts on either side. Now I will say the nut on this side is very hard to get to because of the brake switch. So just the brake switch is fairly easy to remove. What I did is I just took some needle nose, I squeezed right here and I turned it, and I was able to get it to just kind of slide out, and I disconnected. There's a 2-pin here that I disconnected. And like I said, you have to remove the airbag, so make sure you disconnect the battery, and then you can get, once you remove the brake switch, you can get to the 2 nuts, and then you can pull this out. There's just some clips you want to be careful of here. These 4 clips, you kind of just want to gently pry them out and they'll pop out on their own. And then once you get to that, once you get all that out the way, there are 3 T20 screws that hold the blower motor in. Like I said, I was doing this for the first time, so I didn't really video it. I kind of went to go do some other stuff and then came back. But you can see one of the screws there, then there's one right there, and then you can kind of see the 3rd one on the right there. So you got to remove those. For me, I just used my long T20, and I didn't even put a ratchet on. I just went in and loosened it by hand. So you can definitely do that. One other thing I do want to note, when you're removing the brake pedal, here it is right here. This clip is supposed to be a one-time use. Unfortunately, I didn't know about that until I started on this job, so I was just very gentle with it, and I slid it out. Now there was white lithium, it looked like, some kind of lubricant. It slides in right here. You can kind of see some of that grease or whatever it was. So I'm going to try to see if I have any of that, but just be very careful with this. Like I said, it's supposed to be a one-time use. I don't see why it would be. This seems pretty, it looks as reusable as anything else, but yeah, I would just be very careful with that. And then as far as why the seat's out, I myself am right around 6 feet. So I had a very hard time fitting up under there and trying to maneuver everything with the tools and the lights. So I did end up removing the seat. That is not necessary. I could have probably done it without, but like I said, I just kind of wanted to get a better angle. And like I said, I'm really sorry, guys. I wish I would have recorded the whole process. If I had to guess, it probably took me to get to this point probably like 45 minutes, because I mean, it's not the end of the world, you know. It's just, you got 2 nuts for the accelerated pedal, and then you got, I think, a total of 4 for the actual brake pedal frame and assembly and everything. And then you just kind of have to play with it. what I found is that that upper stud that I was telling you, that is the reason you have to remove the airbag. That stud right there is what keeps the what makes it hard to remove the actual brake pedal frame. So like I said, I kind of use my pry bar to get it off, but I don't think it's really necessary. Just gotta wiggle it. I mean, ugh, sorry, there's really no other way. But yeah, I got the new one in. I tested it before I put it in. I'm gonna go back and replace the resistor because I put the old one back in just for now. And then, you know, removing the blower itself, you've got to kind of twist it and get it past these heater hoses here. You don't have to remove them, or at least this cover, because you wouldn't really be able to remove the heater hoses, but you don't have to do any of that. Just kind of maneuver it around the plastic, and then, you know, you got the 2-pin connector up there. But yeah, like I said, I didn't see any videos on this. The ones I did see were very vague, and they didn't really have the information I wanted. So I figured I'd just, hey, you know, show my process, I guess you could say. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go back together with everything. You know, feel free to leave a comment. Maybe I can help you with your 2018 Fiesta. Hopefully I won't have to do any more of these. I usually work on Audi, Volkswagen, so this was definitely a change of pace for me. But yeah, I just wanted to help anybody out there that's struggling with this, and feel free to leave a comment if this helped you, or if you need some, maybe I can reach out to you if you're having any trouble. So thanks.